3 prisons were taken over by communists, members of the Maoist Shining Path. It was a well-coordinated uprising and a number of guards were seized and held hostage. At the same time, friends of the prisoners were attacking security forces in the streets of the Peruvian capital. A bomb was planted at the Ministry of Education. The blast caused some damage and injured 1 person. The Maoists appeared to be demanding better living conditions, and at one stage they took over a radio station and put out a 15-minute broadcast. At Lima's main airport, a second bomb was discovered by the police and successfully defused. San Pedro prison was to become the scene of a bitter confrontation. For the police, the task was made even more difficult by numbers of relatives turning up. The communists have been carrying out a guerrilla campaign in Peru since 1980. Hundreds have been captured. Attempts were made to negotiate with them in the prison uprising, but they came to nothing. Then the authorities decided to use what they called the full force of the state. Special troops moved in and the shooting started. The prisoners fought back with machine guns and explosives. Their casualties were said to be heavy. All through the night, a continuous stream of army trucks, ambulances and police cars made their way to the trouble spots. Reinforcements had been called in from all over Peru. At daybreak, police had sealed off approaches to the prisons through a series of roadblocks. In many towns, police took up positions around key government buildings in case of reprisal attacks. Peruvian authorities said they had the situation under control, but admitted that during the fierce fighting for control of the 3 prisons, at least 150 people had been killed, most, it's thought, inmates. Apart from the usual improvised weapons like Molotov cocktails, some inmates had handguns, explosives, and homemade bows and arrows. At least 1 Marine was shot in the head and another hit by an arrow. Shining Path have long demanded political status for their members in prison, but the Garcia government believes this uprising was meant to embarrass them during a 4-day Socialist International Conference. Some delegates have stayed away.
The bomb exploded near the center of Lima, outside the offices of the Occidental Petroleum Company. No one was hurt, but surrounding buildings suffered heavy damage. No one has claimed responsibility for the blast, but it could be linked to 3 bomb attacks in Lima the day before, all thought to be the work of the Shining Path guerrilla movement. They're also thought to be behind a failed mortar attack on the convention center, where hundreds of delegates to the Socialist International are meeting. Only minutes before Peru's President Garcia arrived to open the conference, the mortar exploded prematurely, killing the female attacker. Garcia escaped unhurt, but the violence has harmed his country's already tarnished image. Many delegates have stayed away from the meeting, the first time it's been held in Latin America in its 35-year history. As current president of the Socialist International, former W.German Chancellor Willy Brandt addressed the opening conference. It's due to discuss the Third World debt crisis and other regional problems, but President Garcia's opening address sought to play down the rebel violence he'd so narrowly escaped. He denounced what he called a campaign by the media to keep delegates away by sensationalist reporting.